The cosmic side of the Marvel Universe has many powerful beings, but few are as important or powerful as Nova Prime. So let's check out the comic history of the best to ever hold that title, Richard Rider Nova. What's up, my comic comrades? Nova the Human Rocket has been one of the most underrated but fan-loved superheroes in the Marvel Universe for over 40 years. From his humble beginnings as a teenage superhero to his evolution as a cosmic powerhouse, Nova has undergone many changes throughout his history. And in this episode, we're going to explore the origins of Nova, his various iterations over the years, his powers and abilities, his important contributions to the Marvel Universe, and more. But we also told you guys that today we are revealing the first of a series of big announcements for Variant. For years, many of you have asked why Variant didn't have its own merch and apparel line. Well, we are stupid excited to announce that Variant has partnered with Printful to finally bring the brand into the 21st century with a dope new line of Variant themed shirts, hats, hoodies, sweats, beanies, and a ton more. This has been a long time coming, and we'll be bringing you guys a variety of new merch options in the coming months. But we'll be launching our new merch shop through Printful on Wednesday, June 28th with that day's Variant episode. Again, this new merch line is thanks to our partner and today's sponsor, Printful. We have wanted to build and bring you all custom Variant merch for a long time, but it could be a very costly and complicated process. And it was very important to us that we were able to offer our merch internationally, which is an added level of difficulty. But Printful stepped up huge in all those categories. They simplified all the time-consuming aspects of getting the designs for our t-shirts, hoodies, hats, etc. printed and shipped. Not to mention their great inventory management services, which is hugely important. And they make it possible to roll out our Variant merchandise on a global scale. In short, Printful has given us the simple and practical tools we needed to bring our merch ideas to life. And if you're a fellow content creator looking to create merch for your brand, we highly recommend you check out Printful. They're a one-stop shop for print on demand with global fulfillment. In fact, our sister channel, the highly popular YouTube series for filmmakers Film Riot, has been using Printful for their store for years and loving it. For us, the things we're really digging are the quality of the products, the fact that they make product creations virtually risk-free with quick fulfillment in 2 to 5 days, no order minimums, and competitive shipping rates. Again, to start a print-on-demand store of your own, get it done with Printful without inventory risk and no upfront investment. Just click the link in our description. And set your calendar for June 28th to be among the first to rock some of the dope new Variant gear. Now let's dive into the history of Nova. Nova was created by writer Marv Wolfman and artist John Buscema and first appeared in Nova issue 1 in 1976. The idea of the character was to create a teenage superhero in the vein of Spider-Man but with a cosmic twist. This concept led to Richard Rider, a high school student from Long Island, New York, who found himself with superhuman powers after a dying Xandarian named Roman Day, who was the last surviving member of the intergalactic police force known as the Nova Corps, chose him to become the next Nova Corps Centurion. When Day passed his abilities on to Rider, the surge of power was overwhelming and knocked Richard unconscious. Then, while in a comatose state, Roman Day telepathically explained to Rider everything he needed to know about the Nova Force, the power set that was passed to him, and what his mission and responsibilities would be as a Nova Centurion and eventually Nova Prime. Day also told him about the Nova Corps, a peacekeeping force from his planet Xandar, and how their planet was destroyed by the intergalactic pirate Zor. He continued to explain to Richard that he had tracked Zor to Earth, but his own injuries proved to be too severe, forcing him to pass his power and connection to the Nova Force to him, which granted Rider superhuman strength, flight, and energy projection abilities, among other things. For those of you who would like more detail on the Nova Corps themselves, check out our Origin of the Nova Corps episode right here. Richard Rider, now Nova, woke up in the hospital and accidentally released an energy blast that knocked his doctor out of the room. Richard then tried to go back to his normal routine, but he struggled to balance his teenage life with his newfound powers and responsibilities. However, once he embraced his role as the last remaining Nova Centurion, he went on to form a close relationship with the Xandarian World Mind, a sentient computer that guided and assisted the Nova Corps, which ultimately became his greatest ally in his mission to protect Earth and the rest of the galaxy against villains like Diamond Head, Powerhouse, and the Sphinx. And I have to say, the Sphinx is a fun deep-cut villain in Marvel canon with a very cool backstory. Formerly known as the Nath Namut, the Sphinx was the former chief wizard from the court of the Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II, who after being banished for failing the pharaoh discovered the mystical Ka stone. The stone bound itself to him, giving him incredible power and immortality. In fact, he became so powerful that Reed Richards deemed him a cosmic level threat. Needless to say, he's a heavyweight villain for Nova. Eventually, Nova found his way to the Guardians of the Galaxy, where he became a key player in Marvel's intergalactic conflicts. Over the years, Nova's character has developed quite a bit. In the 1990s, he received a new, more armored costume and was depicted as a more mature and serious character. During that time, he played a major role in the cosmic events of the Marvel Universe, including the Annihilation storyline, but we'll get more into Nova's story arcs in a minute. Nova's origins have also evolved and even been retconned several times over the years. In one alternate version, Richard Rider's father was a member of the Nova Corps who died while protecting Earth from an alien invasion. And in another version, the Xandarian World Mind chose Richard Rider as Nova and he didn't receive his powers from Roman Day. But even with these changes to his origin, the character generally didn't change that dramatically. Another notable change is one made for the Nova Corps in the 1993 New Warrior series, where it was revealed that the Nova Corps were not actually aliens, but humans who had been abducted and experimented on by the Skrulls. This revelation set up a major conflict between the Skrulls and the Nova Corps and led to a series of epic battles. More recently, the character Sam Alexander was introduced as a new Nova in 2011. Sam is a teenager from Arizona who discovers his father's old Nova helmet and becomes the latest member of the Nova Corps. This version of the character has a slightly different power set than Richard Rider, but still maintains the core elements of the character's backstory. But that leads us to a look at Nova's most important story arcs to date. With Nova becoming such an important part of the cosmic side of Marvel, he has been part of many important story arcs across the Marvel Universe. But let's start with one of the most iconic and influential story arcs in Nova's history, titled The Man Called Nova, which ran from Nova issue 1 in 1976 to issue 25 in 1979. This arc is the original series and origin story that introduced Nova to the Marvel Universe and established Richard Rider as a hero in his own right. The story follows the teenager Richard Rider after being chosen by the dying alien Roman Day and gaining the powers of Nova, and showcased his struggles to balance his responsibilities as a superhero with his everyday life as a high school student. But it was Nova's time in the New Warrior series that would take him to the next level as a hero. The title ran for 75 issues between 1990 and 1996 and had Nova become a founding member of the New Warriors, alongside Night Thrasher, Speedball, Firestar, Marvel Boy, and Namorita, who, as you might have guessed, is the cousin of Namor the Submariner. The New Warriors were a group of young heroes, and as the oldest and most experienced member, Nova naturally fell into a leadership role. This pushed him to grow up quickly, developing new strategies, making tough calls, and handling conflicts within the team. So this wasn't just another superhero team-up. It marked a turning point in Nova's life, acting as a catalyst for his evolution from a teenage superhero to a responsible leader and seasoned protector of the universe. This period also saw him dealing with complex emotional issues, adding further depth to his character. Across the New Warrior 75-issue run, the team dealt with various threats and challenges, from tackling the likes of Terrax, a former Herald of Galactus, to dealing with the fallout from the Infinity War crossover event. And through it all, Nova's powers and tactical skills played a crucial role in each battle. That character development was crucial for Nova, as he became a central figure in the Annihilation storyline, which ran through several Marvel Cosmic titles in 2006, and saw Nova lead the United Front against the forces of Annihilus, the ruler of the Negative Zone who seeks to destroy all life in the universe. At the beginning of the Annihilation story, Richard Rider, also known as Nova, joins other cosmic characters such as the Silver Surfer and Ronan the Accuser to respond to the initial Annihilation wave attack on the universe. However, after getting destroyed in the initial confrontation where the Xandarian World Mind and the entire Nova Corps are annihilated, Rider is once again left as the last surviving Nova Centurion. But during the battle, the Xandarian World Mind secretly downloaded itself into Rider, effectively making him the sole possessor of the Nova Force and turning him into Nova Prime. This, of course, enhanced his powers significantly, instantly making Nova one of the central figures in the battle against Annihilus. He goes on to organize the remaining resistance forces, including characters like Star-Lord, Ronan the Accuser, Super Skrull, and more, rallying them into an effective army. As the Annihilation story went on, Nova was pushed to the limit, further maturing him into a battle-hardened warrior and leader. And in the climax of the story, Nova personally confronts Annihilus, which leads to a brutal battle. Ultimately, he manages to kill Annihilus by reaching into his body and pulling out his internal organs, ending the threat of the Annihilation wave. The toll on Nova was high, but the events in this story really established him as the prominent defender of the cosmic side of Marvel, leading us to his role in Marvel's War of Kings, Realm of Kings, and the Thanos Imperative storylines by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. This major multi-year story began with the War of Kings, which was a crossover event that played out across several different Marvel comic book series in 2009, but primarily it is its own self-titled miniseries. The story deals with the war between two major empires, the Inhumans-led Kree Empire and the Shi'ar Empire, now ruled by Vulcan, the mad brother of X-Men, Cyclops, and Havoc. And as a fun fact, Vulcan is an Omega-level mutant. Anyway, in this initial part of the broader story arc, Nova plays a crucial role as a peacekeeper and combatant in this cosmic war. He is involved in several major battles. However, his primary role is in leading the rebuilt Nova Corps as they try to maintain order amid the chaos. But the war becomes so intense that it results in a tear in the fabric of space-time known as the Fault, setting the stage for the Realm of Kings storyline. This part of the bigger three-part story picks up from where War of Kings Kings left off, with a serious power vacuum and the massive tear in reality known as the Fault, which opened a doorway to a horrific alternate universe called the Cancerverse. This universe is a twisted reality where death does not exist, and life has grown out of control. As the story progresses, Nova investigates the Fault, alongside Quasar, leading to their first encounters with the gruesome lifeforms from the Cancerverse in the one-shot comic Realm of Kings Nova. These initial confrontations in the Realm of Kings are the first look at the real dangers this nightmare alternate universe poses to the Marvel Universe and sets up the events of the Thanos Imperative. This 2010 6-issue limited series served as the massive climax to the Cancerverse story, and it was nuts. We learned that the Cancerverse is ruled by Mar-Vell, the dead zombie-like version of the 616 universe's Captain Marvel, who created the conditions of the Cancerverse by conducting a ritual known as necropsy to destroy death itself. And now he seeks to lead a swarm of jacked-up Cancerverse versions of Marvel characters in an invasion of the main 616 universe through the Fault. Well, considering the difficulty in stopping beings who can't be killed, things spiraled out of control pretty quick. So Star-Lord and the Guardians of the Galaxy come up with the idea to petition the cosmic entity of death itself to resurrect Thanos, who was killed by Drax the Destroyer in the Annihilation event, so they could exploit his long-standing connection to death as a weapon against the Cancerverse invaders, basically using him as an avatar of death to kill the otherwise unkillable. The Guardians do succeed in resurrecting Thanos, and he agrees to join the fight. But everyone knows that Thanos can't be trusted in any way, so Nova and Star-Lord act as the last line of defense, taking on the responsibility of dealing with Thanos, who predictably betrays them after defeating Mar-Vell and destroying the Cancerverse. And in the finale of the Thanos Imperative, as the Fault closes, Nova and Star-Lord decide to stay behind in the collapsing Cancerverse with Thanos to ensure he doesn't escape back to their universe. This selfless act seemingly leads to their deaths, really demonstrating Richard Rider's development into a courageous hero, willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to protect the universe. This event also leads to a long period where both Star-Lord and Nova are presumed to be dead in the main Marvel Universe. Then in 2013, Marvel released a Nova series written by Jeff Loeb and Jerry Dugan that introduced Sam Alexander as the new Nova. This title follows Sam after his father, a former Nova Corps member, goes missing, and Sam discovers his Nova helmet. When he puts it on, it gives him instant access to the Nova Force and all the powers of a Centurion. Then, with the guidance of the Zendarian World Mind, Sam takes up his father's mantle to become the new Nova. This is a different take on Nova as a character, but Sam's origin is actually very similar to Richard Rider's. And toward the end of the series, in issue 29, it's revealed that Rider did in fact survive and escape the Cancerverse. Shocker. The rest of the issues explore the developing relationship between the two characters and their shared responsibilities as Nova, and sees them facing off against threats such as Thanos and the Chitauri. This leads directly into Richard Rider Nova's next solo series in 2016, written by Jeff Loveness and Ramon Perez, which really focuses on the dynamic between the two Novas, Richard Rider and Sam Alexander. The series starts with Richard Rider back from the Cancerverse, but he struggles with the traumatic experiences he went through there. Meanwhile, Sam Alexander, as the other Nova, continues to balance his life as a teenager with his superhero responsibilities, all the while searching for his father. Throughout the series, both Novas cross paths multiple times and form a strong bond, with Rider acting as a mentor and helping guide Sam in his growth as a hero, while Sam in return helps Rider cope with his post-Cancerverse drama. The series also delves deeper into the mystery surrounding Sam's father, Jesse Alexander, leading to some interesting revelations there as well. Honestly, the series was good, but we wouldn't put it that high on our list. After that, Nova has since appeared in a handful of 2019 Guardians of the Galaxy issues and stories where Nova teamed up with the Guardians of the Galaxy to stop the Universal Church of Truth from destroying the universe. But overall, we're still waiting for him to reappear in a big way in the Marvel Universe, especially with his potential introduction into the MCU. The Nova Corps was introduced in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, leading many to speculate that Nova has to appear at some point. Then in 2021, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige confirmed that Nova was in development for the MCU. However, the franchise has seen a butt-ton of changes since then and is currently in quite a bit of self-inflicted upheaval. So no updates on the Nova project may be coming anytime soon. Having said that, when and if Nova does appear in the MCU, it's likely based on his cosmic origins that he would play a major role, whether it's as a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy or a solo hero. As for Nova's greatest enemies, he has faced many powerful villains over the years, like the Sphinx, Thanos and his Black Order, the Skrulls, and the Phalanx. But the greatest adversary he's ever faced is probably Annihilus, the insectoid ruler of the Negative Zone. His clashes with Annihilus in the 2006 Annihilation event spanned many issues and arguably did more to shape Richard Rider Nova as a character than anything else in his history. In fact, there is a 4-issue tie-in series to the event called Annihilation Nova, which focuses on Nova's journey to stop Annihilus and his Annihilation Wave from consuming the universe. Nova fights Annihilus and his forces throughout the series, and it really showcases the intensity of their conflict, which leads us to the powers and abilities Nova has at his disposal for all those battles. Both Richard Rider and Sam Alexander possess incredible powers thanks to the Nova Force. They have superhuman strength, speed, agility, and durability. They can also fly at faster than light speeds, and they have the ability to absorb and manipulate energy. The Nova helmet also grants them enhanced senses, telekinesis, and the ability to project powerful energy blasts. In addition to these powers, as I mentioned throughout this episode, both Novas also have access to the Xandarian World Mind, a vast sentient computer that enhances their abilities and provides them with knowledge and information. Simply put, as Nova Prime, Richard Rider Nova is one of the most powerful and formidable cosmic heroes in the Marvel Universe. As for our Nova reading recommendations, we've listed most, if not all of them, throughout the episode. But to sum them up again, you definitely want to start with the original Nova series from the 1970s, as it introduces the character and establishes his origin story. The Annihilation and Annihilation Conquest storylines from the 2000s are also must-reads for anyone wanting to explore Nova's story. Then you'll want to check out the Cancerverse saga, which includes the War of Kings, Realm of Kings, and the Thanos Imperative stories as one giant arc. Out of all the stories we cited in this episode, we would say that those are the most important to get a full view of Nova as a character and hero. To wrap things up, Nova is a character that has had a lot of ups and downs over the years. But while he's never reached the same level of popularity as some of Marvel's other heroes, he still managed to carve out an important place for himself in the Marvel Universe. And if he is eventually introduced into the MCU, it's possible that we'll see him become a much more prominent figure in the future. But now it's over to you guys. What do you think of Nova, and would you like to see him return to Marvel Comics in a bigger way? Let us know down in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you next time when we talk about Spider-Man 2099.